A really important concept for singers to get is that every note in your range is very related and very close because our vocal folds are tiny. They're about the size of our eyelids and they lay here at the top of the windpipe and the thyroid cartilage. And they're so small that the change from the lowest note that they can produce to the highest note they can produce is kind of microscopic. You literally need a laryngoscope, which is the instrument that ENTs put in through your nose to see it. And then there's a little camera on it, and there's some lights on it, and then you can see these microscopic wiggles. So all the changes from the lowest note to the medium notes to the highest note to the softest to the loudest that are happening are tiny. So if you're feeling yourself like over engaging and over getting involved, especially when you're just vocalizing and not emoting and expressing anything with body language or emotion, then you know that you are in a mindset that's a bit dramatic. And so the best way to think about vocalizing is as a very clinical practice. So if notes are consecutive, like this, those are the five notes of the major scale. And if you know music theory, sorry if I sound pedantic, but these step-by-step increments are very easy to kind of calibrate to. Where singers get in a lot of trouble is where intervals come in, which again, at the risk of telling you what you already know, especially if you know music theory, an interval is the distance between two notes. So we have a major fifth here because there's five notes in between. E, right? So that's the first, the tonic, which is the first note of the major scale in C, and then we got the fifth above. And if you don't know this stuff, it's really easy to learn. Just take a remedial music theory course. Not that you need to, but if you're interested. So if you go E, that's going to feel like a much more dramatic shift than just going E. But you have to train yourself to do that because songs all have a bunch of intervals, right? So, ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. That's a third right there. Da 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 da. If I am not used to training my voice to make that third feel like it's very similar to that first note, then I'm probably going to have a dramatic reaction. So that's why I like to do interval training. So like if you take thirds, sunshine, so ga-ga, sunshine, ga-ga, sunshine, ga-ga, sunshine, ga-ga, sunshine, ga-ga. Notice how calm I am, even through those leaps that feel maybe to the ear, to the perception, they feel more drastic than they actually are. Sunshine, ga-ga, 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 sunshine, ga-ga. See, so I'm feeling very confident and relaxed because I've already vocalized enough and practiced enough to kind of normalize the fact that there's a gap between notes there and that I'm actually doing a jump. So I recommend that you practice this with all intervals. So like a fifth. Ga-ga, 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 ga-ga. See? So my eyebrows aren't going ga-ga. My body isn't changing or anything because I'm just vocalizing. Again, it's a very clinical thing. It's not a dramatic, emotive, expressive thing. That's what we do when we're on stage. That's what we do when we're performing for an audience. We want to use all that's available in our expressive kind of vehicle. But we don't want to confuse that with a lot of effort because looks can be very deceiving. For example, right now I have great lighting on my face, so it looks pretty flawless, right? Because of the lighting that's hitting me head on. If I turn that light off, you would see that there are imperfections in my face. And so perception is very deceptive. And this is one thing that I think is so important for everyone to know and to hear, to not assume that what you're perceiving you can like replicate, because there's a lot of factors that are not really visible to you. So when you're listening to a CD or which don't exist anymore, but when you listen to a song, on Apple Music or Spotify or any of the streaming platforms, that's a very produced record. The thing that's most constructive and productive is to work on these foundational skills, and then you keep doing that, and eventually you can create a record that other people will want to replicate, and you'll know the behind the scenes of like all it took to make it sound that perfect. Because the final product, the post-produced, post-edited product is very different from the source. And this is what I like to work on with singers. The source stuff that can then be embellished and produced and refined to create this magic trick, which, is what music and theater and everything is. It's all an illusion. But that doesn't mean that you don't need those foundational skills to become the best magician you can be. All right? So I hope this was helpful, and work on those intervals. Take care.